South Africa was previously suspected of developing nuclear weapons. It already had a conspicuous presence at the UN because of apartheid and its armed expansionism. But when neighboring Angola and Mozambique became socialist countries in '74, South Africa felt hounded into a corner. So it accelerated its nuclear program to protect itself. 3 years later, the Soviets discovered a test facility, and 2 years after that, an American satellite observed a flash in the southern Indian Ocean. It said this was South Africa conducting a nuclear test with the help of a certain ally. Skullface used the situation in South Africa to get this ally to lend a hand. They both wanted nukes, so it was a mutually beneficial relationship. On the surface, anyway.
I figure South Africa started getting serious about nuclear weapons production in '75. In '74, the government was still able to get by with bluffing that it had a nuclear arsenal. But the year after, word spread that an independent armed group in the Caribbean was crushed by Cypher for possessing a WMD. That's right, boss. What happened to you and your men was the reason South Africa decided to push ahead with nuclear development. A force independent of any country getting its hands on a nuke. That was a threat to the existence of countries everywhere. It wasn't just South Africa. Your presence pushed a lot of countries to get nukes. The world was scared of you. You were a threat to more than just the Cold War. If nations are gears in a machine, you had the power to smash them loose and watch the whole world grind to a halt. Emmerich uses externally powered legs of his own design. It's bionics technology, a product of the U.S. military's failed attempt to develop a powered exoskeleton. All the wearer has to do is apply a little force, and the actuators continue the movement in that direction. But his legs are unique. Instead of using a hydraulic mechanism, the actuators run off metallic archaea. That increases the actuator's reaction speed and also enables him to lock and release the joints at will. The legs are a nifty little gadget, but they have two clear weaknesses. First, they're dependent on external power, maybe because he built them knowing he couldn't leave his lab. There's no internal battery. That's why they won't work if they aren't plugged in. Second, and this is more than just a weakness, the legs are directly connected to his bones. Could be to minimize signal loss in the order's output to the legs and the drive response from them. Either way, Emmerich has used bolts to attach load-bearing parts directly to his femurs, probably by mimicking surgical treatment for compound fractures and the like. But the end result is those legs and his body are fused together, and that appears to be how he's able to move them so precisely. But that also means that any shock to the legs would be delivered right to his bones by way of those bolts. The same is true if he encounters the corrosive metallic archaea. If the corrosive archaea ate into the exposed bolts, they'd reach the endoskeleton parts and eat through them too in the blink of an eye. The doctor's bones are full of holes to accommodate all the bolts. They're like sponges. If he were to lose the reinforcing parts, even the tiniest bit of force or weight would snap his bones. So when I dangled those corrosive metallic archaea in front of him, he realized straight away what would happen. Life wouldn't be worth living if he lost those legs of his. I'd bet that is what the doctor fears the most. I just helped him imagine what it would be like. Thanks to that, I got the information we needed without either of us getting hurt. You know how he is. He's probably already over the shock. The better you know your adversary, the easier it is for you to get information from them. And vice versa.
Thanks to Code Talker, we've managed to put a stop to any new vocal cord parasite infections. We couldn't save those already symptomatic, but everyone who survived has been released from the quarantine platform. Skullface will pay for this. Boss, Emmerich confessed. Skullface's endgame is to activate the bipedal walking tank Sahelanthropus and deploy it into live combat in Afghanistan. That's why he moved into the Soviet research facility they call OKB-0. If his plan comes to fruition, there'll be no stopping the ripple effect worldwide. Find a way to make contact with Skullface before that happens. Then learn what you can from him, and put a stop to his plan. We'll have our fun with him later. This is it, boss. Diamond Dogs is strong enough now to face him head-to-head. It won't be like 9 years ago. Make your way to OKB-0.
Deploying.
That's where Skullface is keeping Sahelanthropus before setting it loose in Afghanistan. There's a good chance he's got nukes, too.
Boss, we need to figure out what Skullface is up to. If you make contact with him, get him to talk. The ethnic cleansing parasites, Sahelanthropus. Find out what his plans are.
Skullface's plans are on the verge of fruition. We need to stop him while we still can. Skullface, commander of Cypher's Strike Force XOF. 9 years ago, he stole everything from us. Everything.
Careful down there, boss.
Soviet soldiers in that area are all dead. Apparently XOF unleashed the Russian parasite strain. To isolate the facility, they first spread reports of a chemical weapon leak. The infection won't spread into the surrounding regions. Still, to think they just exterminate the men who worked with them all this time. Skullface must be making his final play.
Buddy has infiltrated The map has been updated.
Eli snuck into the cargo on board the chopper. His idea of an escape attempt? Who could say? We'll think of how to deal with him later.
Snake, do you read me? I know more than anyone about OKB-0 and Sahelanthropus. Boss, I've made up my mind. I want to be of use to you, not him. Let me work to pay for what I've done. I'll prove it, that I've always been your ally.
Boss, I'll be focused on coordinating backup here at Mother Base.
XOF has occupied the facility. Skullface must be close.
Please select enemy presence detected. Clouds approaching. Analysis complete.
OKB-0, the Soviet Covert Design Bureau. The Citadel may have been built in the age of Alexander the Great, a conqueror. But now it's in the hands of the philosophers. Skullface used his cipher connections to dupe the Soviet military command, and had them research Sahelanthropus there. Sahelanthropus' silo is at the North Tower. Skullface should show up there too.
Analysis complete. The map has been updated.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Analysis complete.
No doubt about it. XOF. Cypher's Covert Strike Force. Now they're taking orders from Skullface.
Please select a deployment point.
fire!
Good work. 2 more gates to go. Still all quiet at the silo. No sign of Skullface or his Goliath.
Surely they can't already have... No, never mind.
CP, this is Delta 9.
Cover me!
Something weird's going on here. How should we proceed? Over. This is CP. Understood. Tight security and stay alert. Out.
You gonna extract him?
CP, this is Zulu 7.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
By the enemy target. Out.
All right, you're through the second gate. Only 1 gate left. From here on in, you're in the enemy's headquarters.
Something's wrong. But it has to be here.
CP, this is Zulu 1. Balloon just took somebody away. There's a possible intruder. Should I investigate? Over. This is CP. Understood. All fire teams check your surroundings. Flush out the intruder. Out.
Make contact with Skullface. Head for the silo at the facility's northernmost point. Keep in mind, time doesn't stop while you use the iDroid. You can even move around while using it, but pay attention to your surroundings.
All fire teams, this is CP. The satellite has gone out. Looks like a problem with the power supply.
Boss, get down.
Go check on the power.
That's an enemy gunship. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies. Horizontally left or right. If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
CP, understood. Take defensive position and locate the sniper.